Hello. This week's episode on the 80s Twilight Zone is, and I again apologize if the order is not the one for broadcasting, The World Next Door and Voices of the Earth. That's the one. Now, we start off with The Welding Store, which stars George Bent, who, of course, is Norm from Cheers. And he stars as this eccentric inventor sort of person, not very successful. And his best friend is played by Jeffrey Tambor, who, of course, was in The Grinch and Hellboy and Arrested Development. Now, they're talking on a train. The train is very interesting because there's a green screen for the window. So they don't project an image on the outside. They just have a green screen, and then they have post-production insert of the terrain moving past outside. Now, the light and shadow being cast into the actual train car does not match the ones on the outside. So if you look at the clip, you will see that they pass trees, nothing happens, and then it's just an empty stretch of land. All of a sudden, shadows are moving past their faces. I understand how this is very difficult to shoot, but I just noticed that effect anyway. This lovely character, his wife, is played by Bernadette Briquette, who was also in Arrested Development along with Tabor. She doesn't support him at all in this. She wants him to go clean out stuff, and he accidentally fires a mouse missile, because of course you do, and opens up the door into this world that he's been daydreaming about. And there he's sort of thrust into having to live the life of the other person, I guess. And he gets it fairly well. You can see that he's a bit awkward, but he gets it. And especially the dance, he immediately catches up on the steps. And he does really quite well. And then we also get a sense that this is not just history, right? It's not just, well, first of all, it's not a Dutch angle, so he's not insane. And also, this is not just he's dreaming of a past era, like Off I Dream of Cliffordville or something like that. But it's an alternate reality. And this is made very clear by the women talking when they mention very different social norms, like, well, only men can dance, and maybe I should propose to him, and all that kind of stuff. And it's a different world. And it ends well, I think, for both of them in one way or another. And it reminds me a lot of The Red Bird by Astrid Lindgren. It's a children's book, and it's on the same theme and profoundly sad, with a very, very sad ending. But it reminded me a lot of that. Moving on, we get to Voices of the Earth, which stars Martin Balsam, who we've seen before. He was in the very first season, I think, of the classic Twilight Zone. Hello, Ken. The 16mm Shrine. And Jenny Agutter, who was we've seen in last episode of the last season, where she played Morgana the Fae in The Last Defender of Camelot. And she was also on the council of the World Council, whatever, in The Winter Soldier and in The Avengers. So she's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When they get to the spaceship set is just a sci-fi set, very sort of box one, and then they go down to the dead planet, and that's shot on the back lot. But it looks nice. And he pops a CD into a CD player, and it plays. It would not. CDs do not work in dust that way. It would just skip and hack and stuff. So no, that's not a thing. Then we get Wortham Krimmer plays a ghost, and that is Emperor Cartagia from Babylon 5. A most intimidating and very, very bizarrely insane character. And seeing him in this was like instant bad guy vibes, which I think wasn't unwarranted. They go back to the spaceship, and there's a very weird echo going on in parts of the conversation they have on the spaceship. It's very weird. Then we get to Dennis Haskins, who was in Saved by the Bell, and of course Tim Russ, who was in Star Trek Voyager. He played Commander Tuvok. he speaks very weirdly compared to how Tuvok speaks, and it took me sort of out of it. He's a bit more sort of urban and not at all as refined as the Tuvok character. The whole idea about ghosts in space, right? The very idea of ghosts not being able to leave the Earth and all that stuff, that is also part of a Babylon 5, what's it called? The Lost Tales, where you have space and ghosts and stuff. Not at all like Ghosts of Mars, which is also ghosts in space, but they're very, very different. One thing that I made note of was that when he goes back to the spaceship and he gets his rest and he's afraid he's going to be possessed, he sleeps in this massive room, like the size of his room. I get how it'd be difficult to shoot in cramped spaces, but there's so much dead space in there, and having that on a spaceship seems weird. And yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all to me. The entire story itself, the premise of it is weird, and I'm not particularly fond of it, although I did really like to see Krimmer as a ghost. And all that stuff. It didn't resonate quite with me. I think the world next door also doesn't quite grab me. So this is not a favorite episode. But I look forward to next week, and I will see you then. Take care now.